To everybody, I want to say good afternoon to those partners on the East Coast and good morning to those partners on the West Coast. And we want to thank you for joining us today for the webinar from WS Display on one of our newest products, our QSEG product overview. My name is Rick and I work in the business development department here at WS Display. Today, we're going to be reviewing over this QSEG product, over the sizes, and more importantly, the capabilities and the actual ability to be modular. That way it could be applied to, of course, what we're going through in this pandemic, and as well as some ideas on what we can do after. So without further ado, let us begin. Our QSEG introduction. Well, we developed this QSEG line to use for social distancing solutions for work environments such as office partitions and cubicles. It actually helps keep a safe physical distance between employees and customers with today's health and safety regulations by strategically placing our lightweight and portable QSEG walls in certain configurations. They actually do come with travel padded bags that are able to keep the frames and graphics protected during transport and storage. Now we have many wall sizes and connector accessories, enabling you to effortlessly create numerous configurations that may meet you or your customers' needs. We have connector options that are available in either two-way, 90-degree, or four-way, 180-degree. Graphic options are a full custom printed die sublimated graphics or TPU plastic for hygienic sneeze guards and partitions. Now, of course, for those who are unfamiliar with the terminology TPU, it stands for a thermal polyurethane. It's a plastic material that you're seeing out there more often than not, particularly for the situation we're going through. Now, the QSEG is a 100% tool-free system. It's a 40mm aluminum framing that assembles in minutes with practical corner connectors. The SEG graphics, which are silicone edge graphics, are inserted into the frame grooves so it keeps a nice, good, tight, and finished look. Some of the product applications that we saw that these can be included on are social distancing, office partitions, sneeze guards, privacy walls, mobile portable office spaces, trade shows, and much, much more. In fact, we actually developed a one-choice option for this QSEG, which is a single standalone frame. Now, of course, we'll review over what you see on the configuration versus the single standalone on the one choice later on in the slides. Now, the graphic package and graphic only and hardware only options are available. In fact, just recently we were able to go ahead and get more of our different accessories into our warehouse down in the Pacific. So we're now starting to grow more and more options for this. The QSEG line is available at all three of our locations, although not all options may be available at each location. In the bottom, it says inventory ETA was August 2020. Well, we're definitely past that. So we do happen to have some good amount of stock already in our system. Now, this is examples of our QSEG hardware. As I mentioned, it's a 40mm wide silver aluminum extrusion profile frame, which equates to, I believe, about 1.6 inch in profile. It does come with plastic latches that are industrial plastic, levers, and corner connection pieces. The frame sizes are standard and custom sizes are not available, although custom configurations are. So what you see here on your screen is the actual size that they come. So unfortunately, if you do have to go a little bit bigger from what you see here, we would just add them on and connect them to make a larger display. They are easily installed. The material can be disinfected and cleaned, and they're lightweight and portable. As I mentioned before, it includes a padded travel bag. Now, we do have a small video that kind of shows you and gives you a nice good overview of that here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the video. All right. Now, as you can see from the video, you are able to go ahead and take these single frames and put them in a configuration that may fit the specific needs of your end users. We'll start with the cubicles here. The cubicles are actually sized for standard 6-foot desk using our QSEG 3.3 foot by 4.9 foot frames, but customized cubicle sizing is available. The standard back wall depth is going to be 78.75 inches, while the standard divider depth is also 78.75 inches. The standard wall height is going to come at 59 inches, and you are able to make a single cubicle, 2 cubicle, or 4 cubicle sets, as are the standard options we have on the website. But the cubicles can be connected infinitely, so you just need to contact us for custom cubicle configurations. The graphic package and graphic only options are available. Although at this time right now, hardware is not available because everything that we have is actually produced at our Pacific Fulfillment Center warehouse located in Baja California, Mexico. The QSEG isolation rooms. Of course, with everything going with the pandemic, we had this idea that came to our management team, and we feel that these can be ideal for hospital environments because we have each isolation room can have up to a 10-foot by 10-foot footprint using our QSEG 3.3 foot wide by 7.4 foot tall frames. But isolation rooms can be customized to the desired size of the end user. These standard heights are 88.5-inch wall heights. The single room isolation could be done, or 2-room or 4-room sets. If there's anything more that your customer may need, just contact us for the custom isolation configurations, and we'd be more than happy to go ahead and price it out for you guys. The graphic package and graphic only options are available, and this does come with the TPU plastic panel options, which, as I mentioned before, is the thermal polyurethane plastic. And these configurations are only produced at our Pacific Fulfillment Center warehouse. The office partitions. Now, as I mentioned before, each partition can have up to a 10-foot by 10-foot footprint using the specific 3.3 by 7.4 foot frames. Now, these are more of like these office rooms. The previous ones were just office cubicles. Now, they have a standard back wall width of 118 inches or standard divider depth of 118 inches, and the height is going to come in at 88.5 inches. You can make these as a single room, 2-room, or 4-room sets as what we have listed on our website. But of course, as usual, you can be connected infinitely. You just got to contact us for any type of custom configuration that your end user may need. And what we will do is we will match it as close as we can. Always keep in mind that there may be certain specific measurements that are called out by the end users. Just give it over to us. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and talk to you guys about exactly how close it could come with the sizing that they request. The graphic package and graphic only options are available for these, and as usual, it's only done from our Pacific Fulfillment Center warehouse. Line Q straight. Now the line Q straight adds a level of safety for single file lines using the 3.3 by 7.4 foot single frames, or you can use 9.8 by 7.4 foot frames. Your standard wall height is going to come in at 88.5, and what we have listed is standard wall lengths at 13 foot and 20 foot, but in case if they need to go any farther or longer, contact us and we're more than happy to walk you through the process. These can come with a full graphic, full TPU, which I believe there may have been a question on the chat regarding can they be all clear. Yes, we can actually do them in a full TPU, or they could be a half TPU, half graphic panel options. Those half options are ideal for any end user who wants to create at least some marketing space or marketing message along with having to show that they're able to do the safe practices with having the TPU clear for people to do one-on-one discussions. The line Q S shape. Now, as you can see from the picture listed right here, the most ideal situation for this could possibly be at the airports when you're going through a security checkpoint. Now, the line Q shape adds a level of safety for zigzag queue lines using the 3.3 foot by 7.4 foot or the 9.8 by 7.4 foot frame sizes. The standard wall height should be 88.5 inches, and they're available in 2-row, 4-row, or 6-row queues. These ones are full graphic, full TPU, and TPU half graphic panel options available. And of course, for when we're talking about airports or anything along those lines, the best way to go and approach it is to go ahead and sell the marketing space first while ensuring to let them know. Plus, we will have the clear TPU for people to kind of see it through and go and talk one-on-one if needed. Now we come to the one choice option. So as I mentioned earlier in the slides, we did develop a QSEG one choice option for all of our partners here. We have a graphic package listing at $99, which includes the QSEG frame, which in the 3.3 equates to 39 inches wide by 88.5 inches tall. It does come with a padded travel bag, a full color graphic print double-sided, but more importantly comes with free ground shipping. Now, these are actually compatible with the standard QSEG frames because, as I mentioned before, it all starts with a single frame and you build yourself out from it. So if anybody does have any questions for end users about what it's like, or can I just start with one and build out, absolutely, we would suggest you go with the one choice option. Now, these do come with a 2-day production turn time, and they're produced exclusively at our Pacific Fulfillment Warehouse location. QSEG ratio. Now, we developed this slide so that way for those people who have a question by saying, well, once the dust settles through this pandemic, what are we going to do with these frames? What are their capabilities? So we included this for everybody. Now, these are suitable for trade show, convention, and exhibition environments. Now, as you can see here, we did take a bunch of single frame units and did the connectors. Now, the connectors, of course, accessories are going to be reviewed over the later slide, but this just gives you a good visualization of what it can actually do. So the recommended frame sizes for trade show use could be a 3.3 by 3.3 foot, which, as you can see in the image, it would be the bottom right-hand corner. 3.3 by 7.4 foot, which is the standard one that we have. We also do count to have a 4.9 by 7.4, or of course the full back wall, which is a 9.8 by 7.4 foot. Now the frame connection options are the straight inline connectors, which you would see lines the back wall. The 90-degree corners, which would be the perpendicular on the right-hand side. A T3 way, which we will go ahead and review that a little bit later on, or an X4 way, which we can also review that later on. That's for in case you want to do a cross. Now we do have high-low connectors. As you can see in the right-hand side, that small half partition wall is utilized for the high-low connector. Now, of course, the graphic package and graphic only options are available, and it's produced strictly in our Pacific Fulfillment Warehouse Center. Now, this is for those that when we get into the new year and conventions and conferences open up, which we all are definitely hoping is going to be in the near future, and individuals are looking for something in a very good, easy, assembled, very inexpensive, budget-friendly option, this QSEG line is something that can be applied for that as well. QSEG accessories. So these are all the accessories that we have that can make these configurations. Now, of course, if there's any questions that, that anybody has on which ones that they are to utilize, they would be more than happy to call us and we can walk them through. In fact, a lot of times we just get images and pictures and drawings of what their desired look may be, and we will go ahead and take care of the rest. We will outline what connectors to be used. You know, there may be a couple questions here and there on the placements on it here, and it's just so that way we can match the ideal feet. For example, going through the accessories from left to right, they got the L connector, which actually goes ahead and gets you that perpendicular look, that 90-degree bend. We got the straight connectors to do the entire back wall. We got a bridge connector, which in the previous slide that you saw with the tray show, you saw a bridge that came out with a single footer. We have the high-low, as I mentioned. So if you go in the second row in the first column, there's a high-low connector, which connects the bigger frame to the half partition wall. We got the T connector, and this is for one that in case if you need a back wall with a partition coming out in the middle to split something, that would be the ideal use. The cross connector, as we know, booths tend to get from 10 by 10 all the way up to larger sizes. And if somebody wants to put a cross in the middle of it here, just for the look of it, we got a connector that can make that happen. Now, as far as the feet goes, we have the twin pole foot full, which is ideal use for a standalone frame, meaning that there's nothing in front of it, nothing behind it. It's actually going to stand in an open space. We also have a single one in case people want to do single standalone frames. Now we also do have half foots, and these are really ideal for those in case you have to butt them up against something. If someone is in a 10 by 10 inline booth and they just want to use their Q-seg to line along the back wall, the half foots would be ideal for that type of situation. In the bottom right-hand image, you're going to see the La Caja case. Though that's an accessory that is available for that. As we all know, a lot of times end users will ask for more of a hardened case for travel and transit. Now, the connectors are available a la carte and can ship from our California and Pennsylvania locations. So once your end user starts with the single unit and tends to want to build off of it more and more, or for example, has an inline but wants to change it up, you have the option to just order the accessories separately to make that happen. Now, unfortunately, no shelves, lights, or monitor brackets accessories are available for this product line as of yet, but we do have some items coming up in the future that may help with that. Graphic information. So the graphic materials that are available. Now we do use our traditional printed stretch fabric, which is done via paper transfer dye sublimation. We have the sanitary thermal polyurethane plastic panels. We can do a blank white stretch fabric panels. There may be individuals who say, listen, I just want the window and a blank fabric. Don't need any print on it. Don't worry, we got them. The half TPU plastic, half printed fabric graphics in case if you want to upsell for any type of marketing space at the bottom. And of course, as we all know, the silicone edge graphic finishing is required for them to be installed onto the frame. And the keter that we use is the 3mm by 10mm size. Now, production turn time for these will include 2 business days production turn time for up to 6 units of the single frames or 2 full configurations. The one choice version at PCF is the one choice version is only available at the PCF location. And unfortunately, rush production is not available due to the fact of the Pacific warehouse needing the time in transit to get it across to the US side to ship from a UPS substation located on this side. Template information. This is always going to be a question that comes up from the end users. When they have their configuration, what type of guidance can they have for this? Now, there are separate templates for single frames, configurations, and TPU fabric graphic options like the half TPU, half fabric. We have templates available for those guides. Now they're included in the configuration templates, so it helps them identify on which panel is going where. When you get to the custom configurations, such as anything that's beyond what we have listed on our website, normally we will take that information, hand it over to our graphics team, and they're able to go ahead and do some type of a configuration with the templates and identifiers, so that way when you give it over to your end user, there's not that whole confusion about which panels go which template is applicable here, and it gives for a lot smoother process. Shipping and warranty. Now for the shipping for the one choice comes from the Pacific Fulfillment Warehouse, which is the graphic package and graphic only, as well as our partitions and trade shows. In California, we are going to be pulling in some hardware only of the 3.3 by 7.4 foot frame size only, and that's just so that way we have an available stock just in case if somebody needs to have an extra one sent to them right away for hardware. We should have those available from both our California and Pennsylvania, along with the replacement parts or extra connectors if needed. The warranty on these items, it's a 1-year warranty on our graphics, and with the hardware frame, which is a great selling point, it is a lifetime warranty on the hardware. For any type of issues that come up for RMA or replacement parts, those will actually go right back to our California warehouse for the return material authorizations, and the replacement parts, as I mentioned before, can come from California or Pennsylvania. Now, this is what we had the coming soon items. Now, we did happen, if those of you that are familiar with our Sego modular light box, we did have a question from our management team on how are we able to start incorporating these different styles of the the silicone edge graphic framing systems. One of them that came up was like, well, how do we, if somebody comes and asks for it to be backlit for particular one panel, how will we do that? And this was the answer that we came up with. We are going to be adopting a QSEG to SEGO connector, which if you see in the images on your screen, there is going to be one that will actually connect to the top of the frames to connect them in line. So you do have the ability to have a non-backlit QSEG, a Sego modular backlit lightbox, as well as then another QSEG non-backlit to give you that effect. Now, for those of you who do not know, the Sego actually is also a 100% tool-free option that assembles in minutes. So for talking to your end user, if they start asking about, well, now you're talking about one type of framing system and another type of framing system being connected, how do they compare as far as for setup goes? You're able to let them know, don't worry about it, tool-free options, assembles in minutes. Once the first time may have a couple hurdles, but after you get the first time, it just gets easier from there. We also have hand sanitizers coming. As we all know, once that we get the convention, the conferences open up, there's going to be a lot of these going around just to ensure that all attendees, that the facilitators are considering our safety and sanitation in mind. Now, they could be mounted 1 or 2 hand sanitizers, as you can see in the pictures here, and the sanitizer bracket uses the same connection points as the frame connector and feet. Now, there's going to be 2 slots on the upper corners and the bottom corners, and those are the ideal slots for all the connection units that are going to be utilized. Now, big question here. As you know, at WSPA, we always like to try to give a lot of resources to our partners. These resources help you talk to your end users and kind of guide and lead them into the appropriate products that they may need. Now, with these resources here, I do happen to have our web and IT gentleman, Mr. Will Alonso, and he actually can take you through that process. So without further ado, I would like to introduce everybody to Mr. Will Alonso. Mr. Will?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Will Alonso here. I'm part of the web team here at WS Display. So in a minute here, I'll be navigating over to our website. Actually, it looks like, Rick, you may be taking over on that part. Looks like sharing the screen is disabled on my end. So I can kind of walk through the website and show you all the resources we have available on the site to make it easier to add to your website, or if you just want to use our resources directly from there, you can just go ahead and do that as well.
And Will, you should be good to go now to share your screen.
So there we are. We're navigated over to our website. You'll see here we have the One Choice QSEG, which we just saw during the presentation. What we have started to do on our site, with a lot of our product lines, is actually when you scroll down, you'll see all the various images that we have available for this product. It kind of swaps through different configurations, the different print options that are available for it, as well as some of the accessories such as the bag or close-ups on the connectors that they have. Now you're welcome to download these pictures directly off our site. If there's one specific one you need, you can always just right click and download the image directly off our site. Or you can scroll down. We have the rest of the information for our products, a general overview of our products, as well as some of the features, dimensions, and some of the products that come included within the package. Now, along with that, on the right-hand side, you'll see we have our templates, as well as a variation of the template in case you want the TPU option, spec sheets, instructions, and a zip file containing all the images. And in this case as well, we also have the MP4 of the video, which you just saw. Now that you're welcome to download all these images, they're hosted on our Amazon S3 account, so you can download them on yourself, or you can just link directly to them. That way, if we make any changes to them and you keep the link exactly the same, you'll be updated to the most current version. So whenever we update the template, it just overwrites it, uses the exact same link, and your site will stay current. Or you're also welcome to just download it and give it to your clients directly. That also works as well. Now, along with that, in our product section, we also have our videos as well as our 3D models. So a lot of our new products we've been designing these 3D models, which gives the user a little bit of interactivity on the site to be able to manipulate the item, zoom in and out for various configurations. Now you're welcome to add these items as well directly. All you have to do is you go ahead and navigate over to the lower left corner. and select the Sketchfab icon. Now this will go ahead and take you over to Sketchfab. Now this is a 3D modeling website. We host all of our products on here on our non-branded exhibit book account. Similar, if you have any other product questions or want templates or anything, we have exhibitbook.com, which has all our images, all our templates available for downloads as well in a non-branded setting. So what you'll do is you'll go ahead and navigate over. You'll see that Sketchfab actually offers you the option to just download the 3D model. So if you want the raw file itself, you can go ahead and download it. Or a little bit easier is just, if you know how to add it to your site, is just click the embed button here. And this is similar to adding a YouTube video to your website. It has the code pre-generated for you. All you have to do is click and it copies that. You just paste that right on your website and it will add this for you. Now it does give you the options to select a few more options, or increase the size of the window once you add it to your side, and it goes and adjusts the code for you. When you're all set and ready and exactly how you'd like to present this on your website, you just go ahead and click and paste that on your website. So that's going to be the easiest way to add stuff to your site. We'll go ahead and navigate back over to the website. In any of the cases, when you see the larger configurations, we'll also have a zip file containing all these images all these files pre-packaged for you in one click easy download. And that goes ahead and sums up the section on how to add any of these items over to your website. But if you have any further questions, you can always reach out to our customer support team at info@WS Display, or directly out to the web team here at web@WS Display, and we can get back to you with help you navigate through adding these products to your website or any additional information you may need in order to get these on your site. And with that, I'll hand the presentation back over to Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Will. Allow me to go ahead and do my share screen. Excellent. So at this time, right now, we would love to open it up for any type of questions. You all are familiar, it looks like, with the actual chat function on it. So I'll go ahead and go through that first. But if anybody has any further questions, feel free to chime in. So I was actually referencing to Mr. Brian Green, and I believe that we had run over this, and he actually asked in the beginning, does it come in clear? Which I'm assuming would be the full clear TPU, and yes, that is correct. We do have options to have it full clear from top to bottom, double-sided. Let's see here. And it looks like that was everything from the chat. So I would love for anybody to chime on in, unmute yourself, ask away. We'd be more happy to answer any questions for you guys.
How do you clean is there certain cleaning products for the full clear?
What we're recommending is any type of sanitation spray will do. And that's when we actually had spec'd out this specific material. That is what we actually had wanted. We wanted something that was like strong enough for you as soon as it's installed, just take a spray and wipe it on down. Now, just as a FYI too, and something that I didn't reference when I was reviewing over the actual graphic side of it, is that if anybody is familiar with our SEG graphics, we do the beading, of course, but we do a single stitch along the perimeter of the graphic. That way it tucks in. Well, with this actually TPU, we actually do a double stitch. So we have a double needle sewing machine that will actually sew the TPU to the beading in a double stitch just to ensure its strength integrity. And in fact, when you do the half wall, the half, either blank or with graphic print, and the half TPU, everything on that particular panel will be double stitched.
They come on rollers or like casters, like roll them around or something like that?
Not as of quite yet. The foot itself actually has like two rubber like dots on it. I'm trying to think of the technical term, but we all know what those are. Those little rubber dots at the bottom, so that way it actually keeps it stationary more than anything. But the future is open for us. The more inquiries we get for items like that, I'm sure that Mr. Craig is going to go ahead and try to look to see if he can go ahead and get anything for that.
Like, how easy is it to move around, like, with the feet? Do the feet like fall out when you slide it across the floor? Like, so you just had to move it like 2 feet over. Is it like,
yeah,
like, and it falls apart and you got to reassemble it, or?
Nope, not at all. In fact, and I wish I had an up close picture of the foot itself. So now each of the foot, when it goes in, it actually, there's like a little lip on the actual insert, like the male part that goes in. It's not something that actually locks it into place, but it is something where if you were to pick it up, like for your single unit and shake it as hard as you can to see if the feet come out, it doesn't do that. In fact, I have 2 frames here that, you know, the company gave to me to bring home to test it out myself. And that was one of the testings that I did. I picked it up and tried to shake it out and move it around to see if that is that happens, and it doesn't.
That's good.
So,
And you mentioned like custom sizes. Like, can you get like a 4x5 or something like that, or?
close. It's not necessarily custom size as the actual frame is. It's like a custom configuration. So for example, you know, your 3.3 by 7.4 foot tall can increase to a 6.6 foot wide by 7.4 foot tall. But unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to take a standalone frame and say, okay, well, we're going to elongate it from 3.3 straight up to 4 and then 7.4 up to 8. They come in a 100% preset size, and that's only because of the actual tool-free ability on how it's connected. The top and bottom horizontal sections have like this little slot opening, and it slides in, like a little bracket slides in, and there's a lever that you pull down, and that's how it locks it into place. And then we have from Miss Brooke. So do I understand that shipping is free? With the one choice items, that shipping is going to be free. Free ground shipping for the one choice, but I believe the custom configurations we would have to go ahead and apply the shipping cost for it. Now, of course, that is for now, I believe, and we're always looking on trying to give a little bit more for our partners to be more competitive out there in the market. For example, if someone says, well, what's the difference between what you're trying to give to me and what somebody else is giving to me? We're always looking for that extra chip to throw on the table by saying, well, I could give it to you for this. But as right now goes, it's still a very new product for us here. So we want to go ahead and make sure that we're configuring everything on our side before we start going. But we will definitely go ahead and improve more on it. Question from Miss Mariana. For the isolation rooms, how do you recommend clients seal the system top and bottom? Now, in order to make a full enclosure, that's something that may be a little bit outside of what we do. Now, of course, with the custom configurations and myself working in business development department, our mantra is never leave any stone unturned. Depending on the size of the quote unquote room, we may be able to do something along the top, and that would almost look like that we would put adhesive backing Velcro along the perimeter of the top of the aluminum framing system, and then a fabric piece or anything to cover the top. As far as the bottom and the flooring goes, that's something that's really beyond what we have. Oh, one more thing, guys, for everybody here, and I'm hoping that we still have, okay, we still have all the participants here. Every single person that is in this webinar as of right now is being noted down, because we are going to offer you one free QSEG for your location. There is no point in us trying to go ahead and tell you how great this system is without putting one in your hands. So just as a little thank you for joining us here and hearing us out, we are going to be doing that. So I'm going to be working with Ms. Sheree to get all your guys' information, working with our web team. You should be getting an email blast coming out for you, thanking for joining us and then offering this for you guys. So that way you guys can get started on working on it. I know here in California, we just went ahead and avoided the next tier up for the closures due to the number of cases and, you know, the statistics here. But we are looking forward to hoping that things will open up soon. And if they do, I'm sure these items are going to be coming up on the forefront.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, thank you for doing that. That's great.
Absolutely, and that's something that we actually try to look at what was happening now and try to shift a little bit of what we offer. Now, of course, everybody always thinks of WS Display as, oh, those are the trade show guys. Those are the trade show guys. And as I was talking to Mr. Ken, that was one of the things that he said. He's like, you guys understand that everybody thinks WS Display is trade show, and guess what? No trade shows are going on right now. And I said, you are absolutely correct. So now we have to shift our approach to all of our partners, particularly those family members in the sign world, and say, you know, we can do such things as what we like to call visual communications, you know, anything what we have right now. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of our one choice products, you know, flying out the door for just, you know, hey, make sure to wash your hands. Here's the mask. Go this way if, you know, directional, however it works out. Tents are becoming a really hot topic right now because as we all know, things are still being pushed for outside, you know, collections of individuals, whether it be, you know, for any type, business, pleasure, you know, whatever. But we're trying to go ahead and shift the focus and let everybody know that it's not just strictly for trade shows that you could apply it for. You could apply it to anything. We just, you know, as we started in the beginning, we were always focusing on trade shows. Excellent. Any other questions from anybody? I'll give it a couple minutes.
And I do still need a few people's last names here if you do want to take advantage of this. So either you can message me privately or unmute yourself, either way. And of course, if you have any questions, now's the time.
Oh, great question here. So I got a question that says, what is the competitive advantage with this system versus your competitors? Well, we always like, you know, there's a ton of them out there. And as we all know, sometimes it's a dime a dozen for what we have out there. Now, what we always like to say is that our focus is one, to pick a product that can stand the test of time. Good quality, good printing. Then we tackle the price. But more importantly, we do the versatility of it. How easy is it for somebody to take a look at it and say, I can do that? You know, how easy is it for someone to say, well, when I'm done with it, I can apply it for this? And that's kind of the approach that you want to go with the end users. You want to take something like this and say, listen, I know that what we're going through right now is not going to last forever. I want to introduce this system because it could be applied now, but more importantly, it can actually get you an ROI down the road by being applied in different facets. So another question from Mr. Tim Howard, what is the normal lead time? Now the normal lead time, as I mentioned, is about 2 business days up to 6 of your individual units. So if you're doing standalone frames just for, you know, visual communications, those are normally 2 business days up to 6 sets. Now, if you're doing something of a configuration, meaning that you say, hey, I need, you know, maybe a cubicle, office cubicle. Those are 2 business days up to 2 units. And then, of course, plus transit time. All right, excellent. So if there's no further questions, or if there's anything that comes up after this, I believe on my name, it just says Rick at WS, and hopefully you can read it all. It should say Rick at WSDisplay.com. My door is always open to anybody with any questions, no matter how big, no matter how small. If you do happen to forget who I am, you could always reach out to Sheree. She knows exactly how to get in touch with me. Mr. Kent knows how to get in touch with me directly. And if not, send it to info info@wsdisplay.com. If it's something that our customer service team feels that needs to be escalated for a little bit more in-depth explanation or guidance, normally they will pass it to us in operations, in the business development team. We got Mr. Will Alonso, who works with us every single day to go ahead and clarify certain things. So we will always be there for you guys. So once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here. And Sheree, thank you so much for setting this up again. And we do look forward for the next one. You should be seeing us do these a lot more often with different styles of products.